Lather leather. Lusty lads lather leather.
Lion
Lusty
face.
lads lather leather.
Lemon face.
Rusty rusty lathers Ryan Reynolds lusty leathers.
I'm warmed up now.
Okay. Want you start?
Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Okay.
What are we doing?
This is the OC Men.
Oh, gotcha.
Hello and welcome with a capital W to the OC. Why did I write in a capital W?
I don't know. Why did I snort right into the mic as you were?
Hello.
Just tripped off the starting block.
Hello, and welcome to the OC Men. This is the fourth episode of the podcast where every week my two friends and I watch an episode of the mid-2000s primetime teen dramedy, The OC, and then we discuss what we just watched. I'm JT.
I'm Russell.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are the
OC Men.
Good one. Our goal for this podcast is to figure out just why I love this damn show so much and see how two guys completely new, a little bit less new than they were a few weeks ago, completely new to this series, react to each episode in depth. Today's episode was the debut from season 1, the establishing of the new status quo episode.
Episode 4, A New Hope. It's the same writers as episode 2, so it's cool to see them again. The Young Avengers, Alan Heinberg, and the creator. So it's more, now that Jane Espenson set the plate for them, they can come in and do the stories they want to do.
It was directed by Daniel Attilas.
Was there an L in it?
Did I write it down wrong?
I thought it was Atias.
Atias,
maybe.
Hold on.
Yes, amiga.
The director, it was cool. He's directed a bunch of TV shows, and he also did Silver Bullet, that werewolf movie.
yeah.
Didn't we watch Silver Bullet at Murderama?
I think so. Jamie?
So for a bunch of years, I would show horror movies every Sunday night at midnight, and we did that for about 3 or 4 years and went through about everything that we had in the library. And we definitely watched Silver Bullet one time. I don't remember if you were there. So you would remember like Gary Busey, kid in a wheelchair. He makes like a rocket wheelchair.
No, I did not see that.
Okay.
I didn't see
but
that
I would
either.
like to.
What was the movie that went over the best at Midnight Murderama?
I'd say Dead Alive was a pretty
Alive
big
was
one.
good.
That was one of the first ones. And then,
Peter Jackson movie, right?
yeah. And then The Descent was also pretty big.
And what would be the worst movie for a Midnight Murderama? Let's say our listeners wanted to organize a bad horror movie or a fun whatever horror movie watching. What movie should they stay away from?
There would be a lot that people would recommend. A lot of trauma movies that people are like, what you should totally play is this. And I'm like, what you're saying is you want to watch 5 minutes of that and laugh at how you're watching it. Mm-hmm. And then for an hour and a
ironically
half,
watch it. We're not.
Yes.
Maybe other people will have ironic watching parties, and that's cool.
But
not.
God, man.
We're not super into that. I don't.
We are not ironically watching the OC.
No.
I'm definitely into it now, and I really do feel like every other day I want to watch another episode to do another one of these podcasts. It's weird to think of this as a hobby now, where it's like, let me sit down and watch this show, when it's like, shit, yeah, I get to sit down and watch this show. And
Legitimately made my dick hard to know that my friends aren't judging me now for loving this show so much. That was the one thing. That was like my one fear for we would do this podcast, and my friends would be that's Russell and Jamie would be like,
I'm Russell.
well.
And I'm Jamie.
Don't fucking interrupt me. And so we'd watch it together and we'd do it for the podcast and be like, why the fuck do you actually like this? You are lamer than we already knew you were.
Could you imagine if it was 90 episodes of us
You
just being like,
hating
yep,
it?
this one fucking sucked too. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Though I will say, this fourth episode is not one of my favorites.
Oh, really?
I think it's, I called the status quo, establishing the status quo episode for a reason, in that it sets up the kind of the basic format for the OC. And once this is established, then they, certain episodes will go off that format or react to that format. But this is really just for the meat of the show. This is the kind of format there'll be. Will they or won't they with Ryan and Marissa? There'll be some sort of like tension with Seth and Summer. Sandy will be a badass. Luke will be a dick at some point, and there'll be a big function or party that everyone is getting dressed up for. I mean, it's the basic premise for the OC in this episode, which is cool for seeing it for the first time, really without the is Ryan going to stay in the OC or not aspect of the earlier episodes for you guys. But for me, I'm like, okay, this is the most basic version of an OC episode, basically.
Okay, so they improve
There's a
upon
couple
the punches.
I don't know if improve's the best word, but they riff off of it. They know you expect something at some point, and then will surprise you, or they'll just be an episode where they go off on like a road trip or something. So it's like you're used to these. They're in the OC. It's insular. They're at a party, but now let's go to Vegas. Let's go to Tijuana. Let's go. They call it TJ. So this is the more standard.
I think listening to it for the first time, or watching it for the first time, rather, I really enjoyed it. I kind of felt the same as Russell, that it's really fun. I really like, this is one of the few shows that I sit down and really pay attention and focus while I watch. I'm like leaning forward, and I've really enjoyed being able to do that. Like taking an hour out of my week and being like, nope, I'm only going to watch. I'm not going to be checking my phone or doing anything else while I do this. So anyway, I've really been getting into it.
That isn't to say that I do not like this episode.
8 thumbs down.
That after watching every single episode, again, the 4th episode is sort of a little bit less exciting because it's more standard, I suppose.
How many episodes do Sandy and Ryan play video games together? Because that was the best. I wish it was in every episode.
Kill all the other ninjas. Those are definitely samurais on the screen, though, if you're watching. But anyway. All right, let's move on. Okay, so before we jump into the debut, tonight's episode, I just want to recap the story of the OC up to this point. I'll try to keep as brief as possible. It's the story of Ryan, who's from the wrong side of the tracks, and he's been adopted by the affluent Cohens after his mother abandons him for a second time in 1 week. The girl next door, Marissa, is torn between new guy Ryan and the one true Luke, as I call him. While her father's financial troubles continue to mount, Seth continues to be a hipster Ted Bundy with a focus on Summer. And that's Ted Bundy, not Al Bundy. But we can talk about how he's Al Bundy. Anyway.
No, ma'am.
So this episode opens with video game playing. Seth and Ryan are playing what I think is Dynasty Warriors.
Weird looking game.
Yeah, and their video game playing is fun because Seth is a trash talker in a way. It reminds me of that scene in
40-Year-Old Virgin.
40-Year-Old Virgin. Is that it? Where they
Knocked Up.
Yep, Knocked Up. That type of Judd Apatow comedy moment when they play video games and trash talking. Like, I'm breaking your head off and I'm throwing it down your head hole. Those type of jokes. Mm-hmm. All right, and their video game playing is interrupted by the parents Cohen, which is how I'll awkwardly refer to them, coming in to have a bit of a serious conversation, with Seth's reaction being, is this about the carpet? I noticed a relationship between Seth and his mother to be somewhat like employee and boss. Do you guys get do you understand what I say when I say that, or does it just seem like mom and...
So are you saying that because it doesn't feel like there's a lot of love between the two?
That's it.
It's more like she's just always ragging on him for something. It seems
like Sandy and Seth have a rapport, and they kind of have, they seem similar to me, and they have like some sense of humor. It seems like Kirsten and Seth don't interact too much, and when they do, it's very formal. And she's like, she comes in and say, "Hey, we have to talk about this." He's like, "Oh, is this about the carpet?" And she like looks around like, "What's wrong with the carpet?" I just got a very vibe of like the kind of the trickster guy in the office with the boss that's kind of like breathing down his neck. It's a weird dynamic that I've noticed in the show.
I see what you're saying. There haven't been too many bonding moments between mom and son as there have been father and son. So yeah, all we've really seen is just him being the comedic relief fuck up of the family.
True.
Which I like that they did this about the rug, and then the callback to like, is this about the vase? Yeah. A little bit later. It makes me think his life is just like Dennis the Menace or something.
Well, I have a question about that. Did he actually fuck up the rug and the vase, or is that Seth making jokes with his mother and it makes no sense? Is that an actual thing that's happening? Did you get a...
Yeah, I got the impression that he's just a big dumble idiot.
If you remember in the dumble idiot,
yep.
If you remember in the crab shack with Luke, he draws attention just by walking in the middle of the crab shack. So he's apparently not very coordinated.
Ball of limbs.
I bet he fucked up the rug.
Yeah,
but I also thought it was messed up that they wouldn't let him stay for this moment. I was like, they're having this intimate conversation with Ryan, and they're not going to let him stay. He can't be a part of this. It made me feel like he wasn't a part of the family. So maybe that's how he's.
I guess that's why I get
she's an employer, because it was like he should have been there. Although cons.
Does it seem like maybe he knocked a vase full of something onto the carpet? Is that what we're seeing?
Okay,
so it's just one incident than a series of them?
There should have been a third where he mentioned the fire. And so he knocked a vase full of fire onto the rug and burned it all up. And it would have all made sense.
Did you mess up our vase full of fire?
Was there a third? Usually
there was
rule of threes, right? I thought that was strange. It seemed like in the last scene should be a third.
Yeah, right before the credits
callback
hit.
For Seth.
But I guess they went all serious at the end.
And I would argue that this leads all back to Adam Brody just making up lines on set. Like, that's a fun joke to make up, and that their reactions were genuine, but that's why it wasn't as maybe structured as it could be.
Yeah, I was watching Kirsten's reaction when he made the carpet joke. Like, it seems like she heard the joke. She's like, time to react to it. So she starts looking around at the carpet, like, hey, I'm
remember your improv training, Kirsten.
Exactly. Yes, and the carpet is also wet, and yes, and
and it's lava now. It would have been such a great end to the very episode of Marissa going, "I just need to be alone," and running off, and then Seth going, "Is this about the drapes?" and the credits.
Carpet and the drapes. Okay, so no, they do not want to talk to Seth about the fucked up carpet because he dragged his ass across it like a dog with worms. The Coens want to inform Ryan that he, if he wants, he can actually be officially adopted by them and be part of the Coen family. My question about that is, going along with the show, we like Ryan, we like Seth, we like the Coens, we want him to be adopted. But if you sit and think about it, does this ring true that this family will adopt this 16-year-old? Like, are you buying this 100%? What do you think?
Shit changed quick.
Yeah. I think Sandy was on board from day one.
That's true.
And I bought that because that buys into his character. And I think everything about last episode was getting Kirsten to the point of her being on board. And so
they earned it, is what you're saying?
I think it goes back to that $100,000. I think this is Kirsten's way of making that okay.
I love it.
And that's how it makes sense for me, because she changes quick.
So the worth of a man, the worth of Ryan is $100,000. We all want to know our worth. Ryan's is $100,000.
I'd say that's fair.
Greg's was $250,000.
It's true.
It's
Greg who?
And later on in the episode.
Oh,
spoilers.
There were a couple moments, a lot of Sandy lines that actually made me laugh out loud. And it's not even like comedic genius, but when he's saying, are you sure that you want me? And Sandy said, or no, what if I get into trouble or something like that? And he said, well, you steal a car, you burn down a house, you beat up the captain of the water polo team, those ships have sailed. There's a lot of Sandy lines usually make me laugh a lot.
I don't know if the OC is going to make me cry, but I'm predicting that the moment the OC makes me cry is when Ryan calls Sandy dad. If that ever happens, I think that moment is going to get to me. Because they gave a little handshake afterwards. But I mean, Kirsten came in for the hug, but I was like, oh no, if that happens. So don't do that, OC. Don't
you fuck with my emotions, OC.
So in the conversation, also it's a fun conversation, but also establishes stakes for me. Ryan is told that there can be no more fighting, or child services will take Ryan away. They'll be watching. So that ups the stakes for Ryan's stay in the OC. Before, we see him fighting all the time, so now that has to be put to an end. Otherwise, there's a serious problem. So it ups the stakes in this situation. And it also establishes the conflict for the episode, which is there's a big cotillion party coming up in the OC that everyone's going to, including Seth and ostensibly Ryan here. And Ryan actually says out loud, so all I have to do is stay out of trouble.
Yep,
so it's
right
setting up
credits.
the episode's about, can Ryan stay out of trouble, basically. It's setting that up there. And so my question about this is, what do you guys know about cotillion? Do you have any experience with cotillion? Did you guys get debuted into society? What do you know about cotillion?
I knew people, I think, who one time went to one person's cotillion. And so I knew of it as like a fancy dance, but that's all. Like in my head, it's the same thing as a quinceañera.
Okay. I think it's less tied to like one person's day and more tied to like at a certain age, just society is introduced to a bunch of people, as opposed to, it's not like Marissa's cotillion. Now,
I heard a couple times them referring to it as debutante ball, I think. I thought I heard that, and which made me think, because the word debut is in debutante. I don't know if that meant, if it's like the same word for the same type of thing.
Well, yeah, like
cotillion's Italian for debut.
Well, cotillion's originally a French. I don't know that much. Cotillion's originally a French dance, or it would happen at the end of a ball or something. There'd be the cotillion, which is basically a early version of square dancing. And from what I could tell, the cotillion now is morphed in American culture and probably other Western cultures to be a certain way of partnering up dancing with these young people, and it's tied to the debut of young rich people, I guess, which is their debut into society. So it's like, I think it used to serve a role as, now they are available to be married off, I think, and now it's more of just kind of like an affluent sort of rite of passage. I remember when I lived in Savannah, Georgia, kind of an old school town, right? I'd be walking through the park sometimes to come back from class or go hang out at bars, and there would just be like people in super nice tuxedos and dresses, like walking through the squares and like taking pictures after. And I was informed it was after cotillions, but that's the extent of my knowledge about this kind of stuff. Is it a Southern thing, Jamie, or did you hear about up in Pittsburgh? Because this is obviously the OC, so it doesn't seem that Southern.
Right, and I feel like, not knowing if there's a difference, I feel like debutante ball feels very Southern to me. Cotillion, I certainly didn't know anyone or hear of anyone having them, but I also don't feel like the people I grew up with would have been in that situation.
All right. So what do I mean by establish the new status quo? I talked about it a little bit earlier, but essentially the reason I'm calling this establishment of the new status quo episode, what we have is a big party at the end of the episode. That's going to be the culmination for all the characters are going to attend, all their conflicts are going to come to a head, and it's going to open the episode with introduction of those problems, and there's going to be the anticipation for the resolution of both those and the party by the end. That's the baseline type of episode you get from the.
This is the third episode that has ended with a party.
Yeah. It's pretty standard.
I feel like all four.
And
though,
there was
had
a
parties, including like house parties.
There was a party or two, at least, in the model home. I think there's two separate parties in the model home as well.
Yeah,
but that's not exactly the type of party. I'm talking like a plot party. Like this is the point of the end of this episode. It's kind of like Friday Night Lights would be like the point is the football game at the end of the episode.
I thought Kirsten was a bit jerky when she would when Ryan was like, I don't need anything, and she was like, bet you don't have a tux, like. Yeah. Do you want to lay off him? Obviously, he doesn't have a tux.
Of course, he doesn't have a tux.
Why are you rubbing it in his face?
Mm-hmm. In addition to not having anything, I also don't have formal wear. Oh, sorry.
You mean I don't have underwear or a t-shirt? Yeah.
Yep.
I'll make sure I have my bow tie. Okay. So after all that, we've got Sandy coming home from surfing. We've probably seen him coming home from surfing 2 or 3 times now.
How does a dude who grew up in Brooklyn become such an avid surfer? When did Sandy fall in love with surfing? Because
went to college at Berkeley.
It's got to be
Is Berkeley on the coast? I know it's in California, but it's in kind of northern California, not southern California.
And I bet it's of only someone who didn't grow up. I bet Kirsten's completely bored with the beach because that's what she grew up with. But
she's not into surfing,
right? But he moved out there, and
it's his golfing basically.
Yeah,
every morning
by himself. He's got no surf buddies.
Every morning, I believe he goes surfing before work. Okay,
but he doesn't have any other. I'm just not realizing any other surfer affectations. Like, hey, dude, like that's not Sandy at all. Even though he has that perfect name for a person who acted like that. So when's he going to do that?
Give him a shell necklace.
He's got the Bronx tie, the ties to the Bronx with his voice still.
Oh, did he come out with the Dodgers?
I don't know.
All right.
He moved with the team. That's so much nice. I bet someone moved with the team across country. Someone had to. Okay. Did anybody move from Seattle to Oklahoma City?
Kevin Durant.
He did. That's right. Okay. So, and then while Sandy gets home from surfing and Jimmy walks up, what's up with the scene there? What read do you get on their relationship from that scene?
Jimmy was like bringing the subject back to light, and Sandy asked all the important questions, and Jimmy was like, wait, no, I don't actually want to talk about that. So I didn't understand why he came over just then.
This subtle comedy is like, so how much did you lose? Like, that's not important. What'd you actually do with their ring? Let's just get back to it. Yeah.
Then why did you bring it up? Why are you over here rubbing this in my face again?
So my question there is, how good of friends are Jimmy and Sandy? Like, do you get the feeling that they have hung out before, or is just? I mean, it's his next door neighbor, right?
I could almost see similar lines of like if you fast forwarded, let's say that Marissa and Luke stay together and get married and have tons of babies like they should.
Yes.
It being a similar relationship 20 years down the road between sort of a Ryan and Luke of sort of like veiled jealousy that's been buried since it's been so many years. Neither of them really want to be friends with one another. I guess they kind of respect each other. But I did like so many times with melodrama shows, you get stuff that just because people aren't talking about the issues, you get recurring things. So I like the premise of it. That was like, this was a thing, some stuff went unsaid, then there's a big thing. Let's just talk about it and get it out in the open. And then Jimmy proceeds to not want to talk about anything. But I at least like the premise of the scene that people are trying to talk through and just be like, listen, this doesn't have to be, this was a misunderstanding. You don't have to be mad about this.
People seem to be direct. They seem to come to each other to like confront in the show a lot, which is good for conflict, right? Mm-hmm. All right, so we move on from here to the shopping scene where they're shopping for, I guess, clothes for Cotillion. And so we've got Ryan with Kirsten and Seth, and they're all trying to find some tuxes, I assume to buy, not to rent. And you guys want to, you know the answer to this, but guess who's also shopping at that same store?
All right. Well, so
Luke,
now,
Marissa, Summer, all the rest of the characters.
Yeah, there's one tux store in there.
This was weird. The interaction between Marissa and Ryan.
Always weird, yes.
Yes. Well, it almost felt like the shots of Marissa, she wasn't actually in the same scene as Ryan. And it almost felt like the way the conversation was edited, like they were coming back a little too early on her. So it was like a weird pause of her like, wait, and now I'm going to deliver my line. I don't know if that came across, because Marissa struggles with the acting sometimes, Misha Barton, but this scene in particular just felt really, really, really.
So it's one of the more awkward scenes you've seen, right? And it starts. It starts the pattern that you get with Ryan and Marissa, where they meet each other and they go, "Hey, hey,
yes,"
over and over. This I want to see supercut sometime of the OC where it's just Marissa saying hey, then Ryan saying hey, all breathless to each other. But we get that a couple times more this episode as well.
Fans, make it happen.
Yeah, so Marissa's there looking for clothes, and it's awkward between those two because they want a bone. And then Luke apparates, to use Harry Potter terminology, behind her, and he doesn't seem to be happy to see Ryan there,
so upset.
But he seemed like he was kind of getting cool with Ryan the last episode, right? It seemed like,
and it felt like this scene was kind of ambiguous as to whether or not is he going back to episode 1 Luke, or has he made a change to episode 3 Luke?
Yeah, I think it speaks to episode 3 Luke thinking that, like, okay, I can gut this out because Chino's going to be gone after tonight. So I think when he sees that Ryan's still in town, he's not into that.
Yeah.
So he had prepared himself to be, I'm going to be cool with Ryan. He's going to leave now anyway. Whatever. I'm a nice guy. But now that he's back and he's obviously going to be competition again, he puts his fangs back out.
And I liked when Summer said, "These gloves are giving me sausage arms."
Yeah,
what
okay,
are
that was my question. What the fuck are sausage arms? So nobody knows what they are.
I guess if they're so tight, they're squeezing her hand and they're leaving marks. But sausages don't really have marks on them from them being too tight.
But I think that's kind of what sausage is it's just meat crammed into a super tight casing, right?
Go on.
So it's
Slower.
crammed into the glove.
Okay, so she's wearing these tight gloves that were making like her upper arm like feel like it was being strangled, I think.
She's got a dress with a weird flower right over her chest.
Yeah.
Just a weird look overall.
She's always
also
looking
Marissa's
good
dress
to me.
was super weird. Just like she looked like a stick of fruit stripe. It's a bunch of like lightning bolt zigzag colors of.
I'm never noticing these weird dresses that you're noticing. I should pay more attention to what they're wearing.
Fashion watch.
I just like, she's wearing a white dress or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just a man. I don't notice that stuff. But no. But Summer, when we first see her, she's in the fitting room, right? Again, she's in a bra. Well, it seems like every time we see her, she's either in a bikini or
can't
a bra.
keep her clothes on.
No.
And she's having a discussion with Marissa about Luke, about Cotillion, about being paired up with people.
Yeah, because at that point she has been told that there are some fresh white knights for her, and she's got eyes for Luke.
Yeah. And then she mentions that I wonder if Ryan needs a partner, and Marissa seems to have a reaction to that, and Summer says to Marissa, "You don't like him, do you? You're with Luke, right?" And I thought that was specifically interesting after we see how Summer is sort of averse to Ryan learning he's from Chino. It seems now that he's assimilated into the culture. Okay, he's from the OC now. He's now fair game. He lives here, so he's in our social strata. And then also I think it starts a pattern that I call Marissa has no poker face, which is like as soon as she says, "You're with Luke, right?" If you look at Marissa's face the whole time, it's just like this, "Oh, am I? I don't know. Wide-eyed, innocent. Oh, I'm just so confused." Like she cannot just like be like, "Yep, I'm with Luke," and just move on.
Right.
She cannot. It happened. I marked other times happened this episode when she just cannot keep her emotions off her face. Super easy to read.
Because, I mean, we'll get into. I don't want to get into victim blaming and stuff, but
What?
I kind of feel like
Where'd that come from? Jesus, I'm just talking about her being in love with Ryan.
I feel like a majority of like the problems that happen in this are Marissa's fault for handling like the interactions. Like
100%. Yes, 100% her fault.
the victim blaming comment, meaning it's because Luke's a super aggressive asshole.
Yeah, he's the victim.
Yes. Well, he's wearing those clothes. He's asking for it.
Yeah, I'm starting not to like Luke with he keeps wearing shirts like that. Hey-oh.
It was great of Kirsten, though, to try and set up Seth with Summer, being like, "Hey, Summer, I got some white knights for you right here." Like, Seth, because obviously she knows he has a boat named after her, so she's probably made the connection.
And just skip forward a little bit, when they go to practice for Cotillion, does Marissa seem to hook up Seth with Summer as a partner there specifically? Like, Marissa's the head debutante.
Yeah.
And so she gets to she seems the one to have the partner list, and she's like, "Oh,
No, I think
it's
that was
Seth's
a
partner."
bro move on her part,
Yeah.
definitely.
Maybe
Or
like
is that just her trying to keep her away from Ryan? I didn't really think it was her setting up Seth. I don't really
Okay.
feel like they're that big of
That's fair.
buds.
Okay, fair
Oh,
enough.
but she's happy with Luke. How's she gonna claim both Ryan and Luke? See, that's that. It's all Marissa's fault. Mm-hmm. You can't claim both people. All right, so they're done with the shopping, and then Sandy again has to break up some hangout time to come talk to Kirsten about Jimmy's illegal shit that he's been hiding from her. So we know that Jimmy borrowed $100,000 from Kirsten, but she does not know yet that it's because Jimmy's been stealing from his clients. So Sandy gives that information to her, and that's when we get the second call back to the joke about what do you need to talk to us about? Is it about the vase? That's where that second call back comes.
Yeah.
He's had this weird SEC guy show up to his office and drop a load of knowledge on him that I'm not exactly sure what Jimmy did. I know there's lots of talk investing and stuff, but it's going over my head is what specifically he did and how he did it and why these people are upset.
Yeah, the best way I can describe it is he has debts from spending so much money. The market was fine and he makes investments, and when that's fine, he can borrow from that with nobody knowing, then pay himself back real quick. But he made some bad investments, the market dipped, and now he's borrowed the money without the money to pay himself back.
Right. So the downfall is if someone asks for $250,000 back, then you're boned.
Oops.
Then everything goes away.
And I think it's interesting. Sandy just pours a whole bottle of wine for him and Kirsten to talk about it. It's, does that just make it easier for Kirsten to talk to him?
I think she needs that to talk ever and function ever. Like she always says.
It's 1 in the afternoon. She needs her half bottle of wine.
Rosa, make it a double.
Yes.
See. Okay. So.
Rose almost killed you.
I'll say, okay, so after Sandy and Kirsten have their little awkward talk, or basically while it's going on, Ryan also goes over to talk to Marissa about, why does he go over to Marissa's house to talk to her at that point?
Tell her that he's not going to go.
Which seems to be a move, in my opinion. Just you can just not go. Why is he? I guess he's trying to be nice and say you need to find another partner. And so he's not going because of Luke being jealous, right? He doesn't want to get himself, like the callback earlier, all you have to do is stay out of trouble. And he expects he's not going to be able to stay out of trouble with Luke being angry at him and going to this cotillion.
It's very clear there will be trouble. It's very clear they are not going to be able to get along in the same place. And that is the smart move, to just stay away.
And he should have just stayed away. Well, he didn't cause any trouble.
But he's a part of this family now.
What'd you think of the sexy zipper awkwardness? Sexy scene or awkward scene or both?
I think it's weird for Marissa to come to the door when obviously like her dad, her mom, her sister are all still there. Why does she decide she has to answer the door right now when she's wearing half a dress? The dress isn't always on her.
So she's flirting with him there, right? It's not like, because she plays, I think Misha Barton and maybe Marissa herself plays it like, oh, I didn't know you're going to be here. Oh, my zipper's just undone. I'm not being sexual when I ask you to zip me up, right? I'm not trying to flirt at all. I'm just being normal me. So my question is that an act is that just Misha Barton playing that? Or is that an act by Marissa to is she trying to put on airs? What is she doing?
I don't think Marissa knew that Ryan was coming over. How
she
would
knew
she
he was
know
coming
that?
over. That's probably a bad, not that point, but the rest of it. Like, is she flirting with him there, or is she really just like, oh, I don't know how sexual I am. I'm, just zip me up. It's no big deal.
If it had been Seth, if Seth had gone over to like tell her, I don't think she would have been like, oh, could you just help me zip up? It would have been like, nope, get out of here. I'm calling the cops. You creep. And so, Russell, to your point, I think that it was an accident or whatever. It was destiny that he answered the door. But at the same time, she definitely milked that situation.
I wrote down, this might be sounding mean, but I wrote down, Marissa is like a grinning, naive Disney cartoon. Big eyes, vacant face. Jesus, that was harsh for me. I guess I get this. She's a very pretty girl. She had very big eyes, small little face. So I guess that's what I'm commenting on. It just seems like she's always just like smiling and kind of just the same kind of big bright eyes. It's just like she bounces through life at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, I didn't know, Luke. Why would you be jealous at all? Oh, Ryan, it shouldn't be flirting if you zip up my dress. It just seemed like a lot of that kind of stuff. Like she doesn't know the effect she has on anyone ever.
Yes, and to the point of a lot of this being her fault. I feel like if
not on purpose on her fault, but just the way she just
at is. Like if you're going to make the decision to stay with Luke and he's made it clear that seeing this dude Ryan makes him really uncomfortable, and she specifically left him like to try and hook up with Ryan at one point, I feel like she at least owes it to Luke to be like, all right, I'm not going to take every opportunity to hang out with this other dude.
That's Luke's objection, right? He's like, how come every time I turn around, it's you two guys hanging out? I mean, I get that we're going to be in the same town, but it seems like every time you're in the vicinity of each other, you find each other, and you're the two that are together.
Right.
Which, is somewhat overprotective, obviously. Why can't she have Ryan as a friend? But I think it's clear that there's some sort of attraction going on there. So maybe if you're in a committed relationship, is he being overprotective and saying you can't have a male friend, or is he somewhat justified in saying, hey, this guy that you obviously have a very complex, like stormy kind of like passion for, maybe don't hang out with that guy all the time?
It feels like if there hadn't been a specific situation where he had seen her leave the party, go over and hang out with him one-on-one, and that there was a specific thing with her deciding which one she wants to go with.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, of course it's you, Luke. It's like she had to decide. She had to leave a party in an earlier episode and go to that model house with him and like get rejected and cry and storm out. I mean, that's not just like, why can't I just have a guy friend? That's like, why you have this?
It's that specific guy. Yeah. And so I feel like Luke is kind of an unreasonable person, and I don't really feel like he's worth sticking around for. But it's like, if you're going to make that decision, be like, all right, I'm with him. You kind of owe it to the relationship to be like, I'm not going to try and cause problems, I guess.
All right. The other bit of information we get around that time is that Jimmy's stealing this money from his clients to give his family what they need. Kind of like a modern Jean Valjean from Les Mis. So my question, and the fact that Jean Valjean went to jail for stealing bread to feed his family. My question being, so Jean Valjean is a famous sympathetic prisoner character, thief character. Like everyone's on Jean Valjean's side.
Yeah, like Aladdin.
Yeah, like Aladdin.
Jimmy is just Aladdin, is what you're saying.
So is Jimmy as sympathetic?
He's a Robin Hood. He's stealing from the rich people of the OC to feed his poor family.
His rich family.
Yes.
My point being, I guess he's too rich for the Jean Valjean thing to go completely through. But does that give you more sympathy knowing a little bit better what he did?
No.
Okay.
No. He comes across a little more as like a pitiful character.
Yeah. So bumbling kind of.
Yeah. So it's not like, maybe you don't want to see terrible things happen to him because you're like, dude, you're just a fuck up. But at the same time, there's no part to be like, I hope he gets away with stealing all that money just so his daughter, he can't say no to his daughter who wants a pony.
Sure, he has a pony. That pony needs hair.
Jimmy is to his job as Seth is to human interaction.
Okay.
He's just not good at it. He's fucking it up. When Sandy sits Kirsten down to talk to her in the kitchen, did either of you notice what was on the kitchen table?
Kirsten being her?
Kirsten was not on the table, but behind her, on the table, there was a statue, and it looked like a tree, and had a yellow trunk, big, thick trunk, and then it went up into what looked like leaves, but amongst the blackish leaves were lemons and limes, and it's the craziest statue I've ever seen. I don't understand the purpose of it. Is it there so you can grab some fresh limes in order to cut up, or is it just for looks? Are they fresh? Are they fake? What was that statue?
That's my question for you. So were the lemons and limes, you couldn't tell if they were fake or not?
No, they smelled real, but I didn't think.
So it wasn't like a presentation of, like, it's like a way to serve lemons and limes.
No, it just looked like a weird statue they had in their house. I don't know.
That's a Sprite tree.
I did not notice it. Lemon lime.
I know you're supposed to display lemons. That's like a thing, right? Bowl full of lemons in a kitchen is supposedly like a good.
It's the saying, right? A bowl full of lemons
makes lemonade.
Makes the batteries stay charged.
And if you drop a bag of oranges, it means someone's going to
2 more months of summer.
Of summer.
God. All comedy gold, all of this.
Sandy really wants to call all his friends to warn them, though. Like, he's like, if Jimmy's fucking over all these people, we got to let them know immediately that their money is not here. But Kirsten's super worried about how everyone views him. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a recurring theme, is people worried about how they're going to appear to the rest of the society.
Very much so. Julie very much into that. Hiding that she's from Riverside, kind of, if she can help it.
I kept picturing a scene like Jimmy Stewart from It's a Wonderful Life. Be like, your money's not here. It's in. No, never mind. I can't do it.
Wait.
I'm Jimmy Stewart.
I want to live again. I want to live again. From the OC, see?
I'm also Judy Garland. I don't know.
Garland.
Just enjoy the cotillion. Why do we have to talk about this right now? Please, guys, please, it's me, Jimmy. Just enjoy the dance. Let's not talk about the money. You'll get it's only $250,000.
$250,000.
All right,
a lot of dollars.
So our Jimmy podcast of just our Jimmy Stewart impressions is going out next week.
Podcastathon. Let's talk about our podcast. That's a Jimmy Pardo.
You blew it. Okay. I don't know what the you blew it was. You see? No, that's
Rip Torn.
Okay. I think she's
Rip Taylor.
flooded.
So moving on, we got the cotillion rehearsal. Russell headbutting the mic. We got the cotillion rehearsal. All the kids go to the cotillion. They pair off to practice dancing for the debut. What do you guys think of Seth's reaction to Summer, Seth's behavior towards Summer at the rehearsal?
I actually had that. This was the first time that I saw Seth as not being super creepy.
He was like confident in a strange, still kind of creepy, but more so confident kind of way.
Kind of self-deprecating and had accepted the fact that she's not, it's not that like, oh, what am I going to do? It's just like, no, listen, I realize that you don't like me that much. It was kind of charmingly self-deprecating.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. It seemed like he was kind of like, okay, Ryan knows the deal. I'm going to make Ryan laugh while still trying to hit on her. I feel like if one of you guys was at this function with me and you guys knew that I liked this girl and I had no chance, I'd be like, okay, time to play up the comedy aspect. Let's hit on her ridiculous level now.
I like that. So I specifically made note. I'm like, I'm actually thinking Seth is an okay guy in this and not that he is secretly trying to get locks of her hair when she's turning around.
He might still out where dancing. But okay, so they're getting paired off, right? So that's where
Ryan hates dancing. He is super against dancing. He is Lithgow from
Dirty
Footloose?
Dancing? Oh,
Flashdance.
Footloose, yeah. Flashdance, Footloose, or Dirty Dancing? Which one? I've never seen any of those movies.
It's Footloose. But
Okay. Break off his Sunday shoes. I don't know the rest of that.
break off your Sunday shoes.
Break off the Sunday shoes. I feel loose. Knock me off of my feet.
So you know more than you
Footloose.
think.
I know it. All right, so yeah.
And where does that come from? Chino doesn't like dancing. He can't just dance. He's going to a thing about a dance, and he's super against dancing. Chill out, Ryan.
Can't be good at everything.
Nobody explained him. Nobody explained to him at all what cotillion was. in even the most abstract form of there was going to be some dancing. Like no one gave him anything about just nope. You come on cotillion. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
Seems like somebody would have explained something. Though I guess Seth does say, "If I told you, you wouldn't have come." Which I feel like I see that oriented around dancing. Like that's like a saying in movies and TV shows. Like I didn't know there'd be dancing. If I told you, you wouldn't come. I feel like I've seen that so many times. That's like just the go-to move to get somebody dancing. Don't want to get doesn't want to dance. So that's where we get introduced to Anna here. While everybody's being paired off, what do we think about Anna?
Hey, where's she from?
Pittsburgh.
Ew.
What's wrong with Pittsburgh, Jamie? Do you love it or do you hate it?
It's the worst. I spent the first 25 years of my life in Pittsburgh, and she's the one who likes peanut butter pie, right?
She likes peanut butter pie.
what?
I still have. I've heard that's like a thing, and she says it's a Pittsburgh thing.
She's talking about the things she misses from Pittsburgh at some point later on. She's like, I miss this and that. I miss peanut butter pies. So I've always associated like pierogies or something like that.
Pierogies,
Basically
definitely.
anything that starts with a P. The pirates, the
Penguins,
the peanut
Penises.
butter pies, the pierogies, the
penises are from Pittsburgh.
the Pennsylvanias, the Philadelphias,
Yes.
the
So
Pillsbury po'.
I have to ask some other people back home if any of them like peanut butter pie, if that's a thing. But
But it doesn't
Call
come up in this
them
episode.
now. Call them now.
All right, here we go. I'll put them on
Phone a
speaker.
friend. Dun, 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 dun,
I'm
dun.
calling Jimmy Stewart, who's from Pennsylvania.
But yeah, what do you guys think of Anna? Well,
When we first see her, maybe it's the haircut, but I instantly thought of not only the female werewolf from season 4 of Buffy, but also the lightning girl from Heroes.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
that is who that character struck me as immediately. Just a sort of alternative type of person. I don't know. Maybe it's also the checkerboard wristband.
Yeah, she has a lot of
She had some punk buttons.
she had a lot of accessories. Jamie, this is going to sound like I'm joking, but does she have sort of a Pittsburgh vibe to you at all? Knowing what you know about Pittsburgh, was there something in there that was like signifier Pittsburgh at all?
No, I think that.
I didn't know.
No, I think that really the only thing that comes across as like a Pittsburgh would be their really obnoxious accent, and they didn't, thankfully.
What did you guys think? I think she has the most adorable little lispy voice ever. Did you guys have a reaction to her voice at all? Some people are annoyed by something. People think it's cute.
I don't think I picked up on it.
Yeah, I want to go back and listen. There was nothing about her voice that annoyed me, but nothing really stood out either.
Yeah.
So I want to go back and listen.
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
I'm super into it.
Listen.
I'd say this is where you can jump onto teams at some point. I'm Team Anna.
Okay.
It hasn't come out yet, but whatever. I'm on Team Anna.
I liked her as a character.
Yeah.
She seemed to be like sort of a nice. Well, in some ways, it felt like she was created in a lab to be the perfect.
She's Frankenstein's wife, yeah.
Yes, she's to be the perfect Seth analog.
Or specifically antithesis to Summer, I'd say.
There we go.
She's got all the cool toughness of Ryan, the outsiderness that Ryan brings, while also being interested in every single thing that Seth is interested in.
Almost-
If she had mentioned Dynasty Warriors, I feel like it would have come full circle.
Yeah.
Almost to an offensive level of like she only exists because Seth exists type of thing, which is a problem. But-
Like this, do you guys think Anna owns a boat named Summer Breeze?
well, she's going to Tahiti,
Yep.
so
That was maybe
it's called Seth.
maybe a bit on the nose. But yes, that she's a good addition though, and I liked all their scenes together. I thought she was cute. And Ryan is super dickish to her.
He was.
Well, it blows her off because he's paired up with her, and then
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
I
that's
wouldn't
right.
say he's blowing her off.
And he blows her
he-
off kind of nice too when he has to do. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
He doesn't want to go because he doesn't want to cause trouble.
right. I don't think that he lets her know as far as because
He makes Seth tell her because if he shows
He does
up to
make Seth
tell
tell
her,
her, yeah.
like it's not like they have cell phones.
feels like a thing you would have told before she got dressed up and showed up.
Well,
rather than
he
just be
walked
like,
over to Marissa's house to say he wasn't going. You
Right.
think he could at least called Anna and say he wasn't going. We didn't have her number. You get a read from Anna's kind of character type. Does she want to go this cotillion? Does she want to be debuted? Is it something her parents are making her do? Does it seem strange that she's doing this? Because it did to me.
She seems okay with it.
Yeah, she's
but
okay with it.
It doesn't seem like she's super into it.
She's kind of ironic about it, almost like she's not going to be above it all, but she's like, I'm not going to take any of this seriously like Marissa or Summer.
Yeah, and I think that's sort of like maybe you'd look at it as the more mature way of being punk rocking against the system rather than just being like, fuck that, I'm not going to do it. Just like, I'm just going to do it, get it over with, and not make it
so
a
she's
thing.
like season 5 or 6 Claire from 6 Feet Under as opposed to season 1 or 2.
Yes,
Claire
exactly. She's like, once Claire gets a Republican boyfriend,
Yeah.
then she's
It's good for her.
Yeah.
Everyone should have a Republican boyfriend. I know I do.
Yes. You mean Trevor?
Yeah, Trevor. So this is, I know a guy named Trevor in the program. Trevor, if you're listening to this, it is you. And you're like, I'm a Republican. Yes, you are. And this is where we get the second segment of Marissa has no poker face. So during their very sweet dance scene where she's teaching Ryan how to dance, Marissa is not very good at hiding that face from saying like, oh, I am wet right now. Like every little moment, every motion, every hand move, like she does not hide that well. Neither does Ryan.
No, when Ryan touches her back with his hand that has like the creepiest thumb in the world. I don't know. Did you guys see how creepy his thumb is?
Yeah, Ryan's got a creepy thumb. It's like Seth's penis is on the tip of his hand.
It got cut and it's still black from where it's rotting off.
Yeah.
But that
exactly
disgusting thumb made Marissa cream.
She's super into it.
It was borderline over the top how much they played out that scene of him touching her back, and it was just. But I kind of liked it as well.
I liked it in the contrast to what immediately follows that, where basically Luke shows up to keep it from getting overly saccharine there, and so it's like a record scratch. And Luke says, "I'd be pretty jealous now if Chino wasn't gay." He's just like, again, he teleports out of nowhere into the scene to break up their sweet moment with a record scratch. But I think it was not that I love the sentiment of the sentence, but it's a great like a comedy moment. It's also a great like tension breaker. So it's on the point of being too melodramatic, too saccharine, too sweet, too just kind of soap opera with that little dance and their reactions. And you've got the comedic, overly harsh, quick turn that you have when Luke arrives. I think that's a great move on the
right. Everything about that is little eye movements and little touches and brushes, and then just Luke comes in there like a wrecking ball to be like, all right, assholes, let's get this party started.
This is where we play
and
wrecking ball.
He's got a buddy and a lady with him, and the lady was Holly, who I noticed they were showing, I guess, to bring her up later, which was, I think, cool on their part to be like, oh, here's another person you'll need later. Let's go ahead and put them in this scene so that you can start to see them.
Smart. Yeah. And she seemed very pleasant. She seemed like a good example of kind of like someone that's in the upper echelon of the social sphere of the OC High School Club, but also seems like a nice lady.
It's nice of Luke to have a nickname for Ryan. It's cute.
Yep. Chino? Yeah, it's cool.
It's probably the nicest
So
nickname.
my question was, did you guys know he was referring to Ryan as Chino, or was he referring to the place of Chino?
The entire town is gay?
I thought he meant the entire town.
And I guess I had here, explain Anna to me at this point. Like, what's her deal? What is she? What is her type? Like, what's her role going for? Like, what is Anna? Like, is she a punk? Is she?
Yeah, it felt like she was this punk rock lady who was also an outsider to the group, but I guess is a part of the group now. Group as in society of OC.
It seems like someone who's, a little bit of an outsider. I think by her participating shows that she's a little better at playing the system. But it also seems like her introduction to Seth and Ryan makes it feel like she's kind of excited that she's meeting people who are kind of similar, have her similar interests.
She seems kind of overly wise and adult compared to some of these other kids.
It's that Pittsburgh, it'll raise. I was raised on
those peanut butter pies and pierogies, watching the Penguins and
having pepperoni pizzas.
Pepperoni pizzas, pierogies. So that's the end of Cotillion. That's my transition. That's my transition. That's the end of the Cotillion.
And the episode's
rehearsal.
over.
and it was a rehearsal, whatever. So that's the end of rehearsal.
That teacher was intense, though.
Yeah. Oh,
not but like her flower thing on her neck and stuff.
That's the same lady that was doing the wardrobe, or at least the dresses and stuff for the first episode with the fashion show.
Too much eye makeup.
She was too much eye makeup. Yeah, she's the same lady.
If she had tits and could wear the dress,
didn't she have like a little? She had like a little manservant named Patrick that was running around. Did you guys notice that?
I do not.
It's like this super super fine featured.
In this
like
episode,
little boy servant named Patrick. I was running around. My question, I thought was a funnier question when I wrote it, but it's just she fucking Patrick. But I don't know if you guys remember that there's this little guy that was running around.
Was Patrick who she danced with as well?
Basically, she'd like clap, and then he'd run and do her bidding. I think it's who she danced with as well. So
makes
she
sense.
fucking Patrick? I don't know.
I think the answer, or my answer to, if you ask, are these two people fucking for the rest of the show, is always going to be yes.
I think I ask that question a lot. So getting takeout. the rehearsal's over, and Jimmy goes to get takeout for his family from a restaurant, and he meets
Greg,
another debutante's dad, who's Holly's dad. His name's Greg, and he's played by Christopher Cousins. You guys recognize Christopher Cousins?
He looks super familiar, but I don't know where.
Who's CC?
He played Ted in Breaking Bad, the man with whom Skyler had a
little
thing on the side.
I don't remember Ted.
Ah, Ted.
Gets his neck broke. No spoilers. Gets his neck broke when he falls. Skyler steps out.
When you said Skyler, I was thinking of Jessica Jones, but Skyler's Ted. Okay, yeah.
From Breaking Bad, yeah.
Yep, that's totally who that is. Who's like completely rational, normal dad up until the last 5 minutes.
He has a turnaround. He's like, I was $250,000. No big deal. Hey, Jimmy, we're buddies. Jacques, Jean Valjean, Jacques. That's kind of what happens.
This is the impression episode. I love this.
Jacques, Jean Valjean. Does anybody know any songs from Les Mis? I don't know any songs from Les Mis.
Yeah. Nope. That's Cats.
Alexander Hamilton. That's not from.
I think that was from Les Mis.
Okay. All right. So then we got a party coming up.
Well, I think we learned that Jimmy's a bit better at lying than Marissa is. And then when his card gets declined, he's like, "New card, must have forgot to activate it," like people do. Have you guys, when you ever got a card in the mail, you get your new debit card?
Yeah.
Do you just take it out and try and use it without actually activating it?
You know what all you have to do? There's an 800 number on the card. You call it, takes 2 seconds, you push a number, and it's activated.
Will you tell me the number of your card and the numbers on the back?
Oh, yeah. You ready to write them down?
69, 69, 69, 69, 24/7, 365. 420, 69.
Nice, you nailed it. I was wondering if you were going to get the 420. I wanted to mentally say, make sure you say 420. Please say 420.
Also, I've definitely forgotten to activate my card before using it, but you guys know me, so that makes sense probably. Right? Okay.
So you're the Jimmy.
Yeah, I am. I wish I was the Jimmy. Get to fuck Julie and have lots of, not have lots of money.
You own a pony?
Yeah, you got that sweet pony named China.
What? It's weird that their parties are catered by fancy restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that. I never see anyone eating food at these parties ever.
Yeah, nobody eats, just drinks.
Judging by the average body type of everyone you see in the OC, not that many people eat that much. I don't think. Everyone is very much in shit. I don't know if
they got a
single
cocaine
large
table.
person.
You don't know their TDE. Their calories in might have to equal their calories out.
That's true. Mm-hmm. So speaking of parties, we moved to a party where, as always, everyone's walking around bikinis and stuff inside the house. Well, I guess it's on the beach. It makes sense. But is it dangerous to barbecue in a bikini? Like Holly was sitting there.
It was. I had no problem with it. I don't know why you're complaining with Holly's bikini.
I don't have a problem with that. It fit her well.
I've barbecued in bikinis plenty of times. It's totally fine.
Would you barbecue with your shirts off or in a bikini?
Nah, there's a lot of spackle that comes out.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't know if that's the term, but yeah.
Would you cook bacon on a frying pan and
yes,
I
would and I do, and it's all right. It's not too bad. It's worth it in the right situation.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It's like the pain for pleasure thing.
I know that you're telling me that Summer's going to be worth it down the line, that she's like an adorable character, but
I think she's adorable.
God, man, I had a hard time getting on board. And I guess it's probably even telegraphed that she's not going to end up with Seth.
She has a character arc, she starts off your typical everything that's kind of wrong with the people that live in the OC.
She's so against those pathetic girls who don't have a date for Cotillion while she herself doesn't have a date for Cotillion. But they are so pathetic.
It's in her, she's seeing herself mirrored, so she, takes out on them instead of herself.
But we get her at the party here trying to sell her date of Seth with Seth. And it's like, I don't know, there's something about it. It's like, God damn, man, fuck Summer. That was seemed like a dick move.
Yeah, because Seth is right there. And why does it fucking matter? Mm-hmm. Who else are you going to get? Take the one who's in love with you and who last episode you had such a great time with. You had such fun.
Now, we're saying this now, but don't we constantly refer to Seth as a serial killer and a creep and obsessed? And she probably has these same thoughts about this guy, or are we all just joking? Because really, obviously, he's not that bad.
That is fair.
He's really not that bad. But she probably sees something that we see when we make fun of him. She knows he named this boat after her. She heard Ryan and he talking about this. So like, there's some
Yeah.
creepiness that she might be worried for her person. Like she's worried for herself to be around this kid.
I'm saying.
But she could say that.
Seth introduces to the word barbecutionist. Have you guys ever? It made me laugh really hard for some reason. You are a really good barbecutionist. I imagine it's an improv on Adam Brody's part. But.
Anything weird he says now, I'm just assuming that the writer did not come up with it, but it's just him being weird and they left it in.
I feel like you can tell when they are, like something like barbecutionist or the vase, or I feel like he almost like talks off camera, or he does like almost like vacant. I don't know. It seems like he does a thing when he's improvising. From what I can tell, it's like a tell he has.
And they cut as soon as he said it.
Yes,
which
they
makes
cut
me
really
think
fast
Probably
after he
someone
does these
laughed.
things, yeah.
And then it cuts, so we get to see Luke playing his guacamole chip game.
Yes, I
with
wanted to
his
ask
friend.
about you guys that. So I wanted to talk about this for the next 30 minutes. So yeah,
Chino is so gay, but let's do this.
Luke is feeding his friends and giggling as Marissa watches. What are her thoughts while she's watching this happen?
Yep, I ditched Ryan for this. This is worth it, living the life.
What was the point? Okay, I'm not saying like, oh, is it gay to feed friends? Whatever.
It's a fun game.
What I'm saying is, it looked delicious and fun to me.
Yes.
We would do that, baby. But I don't know. We don't like to mix the hands food. But my question is, what is the point of showing? What would the director? What's the writer? What was the point of showing that action? What is that doing? Is it
Have some fun at the party that they're just enjoying themselves.
Well,
They're
and
being-
it felt like you were going to make him do something that was kind of dumb. To once again,
Okay.
probably the point is Marissa's reaction of, "Yep, this is who I picked out of the two."
That's what I thought.
But at the same, there was something that was so like innocent, I guess,
Yes,
about like
I
when
thought
you're-
was charming, kind of that they were having fun.
Like
that
you're
way.
at a party that you've established in other episodes are full of coke and booze and underage sex, and like what they're doing is just doing something that like 6-year-olds do at overnight sleepovers. Like, oh, we're just gonna goof around and put guacamole on each other.
You used to do that as a 6-year-old with your friends.
In Pittsburgh, we play a lot of guacamole
Yeah,
games.
you called it Pittsburgh guacamole
games. Yes,
games. I was going to go somewhere else and he didn't go there.
Good yes and work.
PGG. So not only did they get takeout from this restaurant for the cookout, but they were also cooking out food and had chips and dip.
Yeah, they were
there.
balls
So
deep in guacamole as well.
maybe you shouldn't be so worried about the $250,000, and maybe you should just cut back on these party expenses.
Get your catering budget for 1 week. We'll buy whatever you're trying to invest in.
Maybe Holly makes her own money. Maybe she's got a job.
The timeline here got super confusing for me because I thought the cotillion party. I thought the cookout
Yep.
was going to be after the cotillion,
Yep.
and it made it seem like they skipped the cotillion, but I'm not
Cotillion
sure.
was the
I guess-
next day, I believe.
Yeah, that they did not.
I
was
assumed there was
lost.
going to be the after party for the cotillion, but I think it was the
was
rehearsal,
after
then the
party
party
for the
and
rehearsal.
the cotillion the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the party is the cotillion party.
Yeah. Did you guys know? And then the after party. Did you guys notice that again at a party, Luke and Marissa separate, Seth and Ryan separate. Both
Yeah.
of them did not hang out with their boyfriend at the party.
And specifically at the beginning of the party, I believe Luke is like, "Let's hang out," and Seth is like, "Nope, later. I got to go find Summer."
Wasn't the whole premise... Maybe I'm misremembering how the conversation went, where he was like, the party's tonight, and he's like, I'm not going to go. He's like, well, Summer will be there, so yes, you're definitely coming with me, and then ditches him as soon as he gets there.
Yeah, he says, "I don't want to go by myself. I'm going, but I'm not going by myself.
Yes.
So you have to go with me." As soon as they get there, by himself.
I think they have to, that's our filmmaking move, right? You have to separate them so they can have their individual scenes and shit.
Right.
But it feels like every time they go to a party, both Marissa and Luke not together, Ryan and Seth not together.
Yeah.
Until, of course, Luke just teleports into a scene with Ryan and Marissa talking, catches them talking, and he brings up the point, which I give him a little bit of credit on. All these people here, you only want to talk to her as he's talking to Ryan. So it seems like every time Luke goes to a party, every time anywhere, it's always Marissa and Ryan talking in his point of view. Mm-hmm. So my question is that fair or not?
He doesn't know anyone yet. I mean, it makes sense that they're only talking to each other, but it's like, well, who else does he know here?
It's a valid point. Who else are you going to talk to at the party, really? I mean, Summer obviously wants to talk to the guy, but it didn't seem like she's trying to. Yeah. But maybe instead of trying to pawn off Seth, she go talk to Ryan.
Maybe Luke should bring some people up to Ryan, and then they have a conversation, and they all get along, and then Ryan has more people to talk at the party. Maybe that's a better way to handle the situation versus ostracizing him from the one person he does know and the one.
Yeah. Do you think Marissa's ever just sat down with Luke and really had the full conversation about this and explaining? I feel like they don't have those type of conversations where she just logically places her friendship with Ryan next to her love for him, and they really talk about their feelings. I feel like that could fix up. Like, hey, can you just try to like this guy because I think he's a fun dude. I think you'd really like him. You have a lot in common.
Yes.
I feel like that's the move she should try.
And I feel like I like that I had similar notes and thoughts of like, I would be such a better girlfriend to Luke.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, how could I make Luke love me more?
Yes, but I think that Luke is the type of person who needs direct talking to.
Yes.
He needs to have and the same way, like last episode, if you need something moved, if you need this stuff adjusted, he'll come in and he'll help. He'll do whatever is needed. And I feel like if you sat down and been like, listen, we're going to stay friends with him, but I'm picking you. Let's all three of us hang out. Like, I feel like if direct communication with him would alleviate a lot of Ryan getting punched in the gut.
And good on Ryan. He didn't fight back. He's sticking true to his promise. He's not going to get in trouble.
No trouble.
This episode.
Even
Also, so people don't tweet us, I'm seeing in our notes right now that this is where Marissa's wearing the fruit stripe dress, not earlier. So tweet us, but not about that, please.
What
Yeah.
about that? We just need people to talk to us.
Talk to us.
We're like Seth pre-Ryan here. So lonely.
But he took the punch, and that was good.
Didn't
of him.
fight back, and
No.
they moved on. All right, so after that scene, we got Ryan and Marissa both deciding not to go to Cotillion now, and Sandy also deciding not to go to Cotillion.
There was the scene right before that when Marissa tells her mom that she's not going to go. And she's like, I'm sorry. And Julie Cooper goes, no, you're not.
But you will be.
Yes, Yoda lines. Like that was
Because Julie wants the best for her. Julie realizes they are poor and they are not going to get any money. So if Marissa marries some broke-ass boy like Ryan, her life isn't going anywhere. She's just looking out for Marissa. Be like, go with Luke. Luke's from money. Luke's going places. You don't want to be Riverside. You want to be OC, baby.
That's Julie's trajectory right there. She came from some place that didn't have money, and she married well, and she has a great life for herself. She didn't want to see the opposite happen to her daughter.
Also, Julie's the best at lying because when she comes in the room, her reasoning is, can I borrow your lip gloss? Like, shut the fuck up. Like,
You own lip gloss, Julie.
Yeah, but she sold that the most. She seemed like she definitely needed lip gloss. Just
And also, I get a feeling you guys probably haven't watched Downton Abbey, but like Julie really reminds me of that era, like mother. Like you must present yourself to this boy and be a good wife potential. And she keeps talking about the time she's already put into the relationship with Luke. She's like, oh, you've been together forever. You've already put on all this time with Luke. It's a very much like business transaction. Feels very like turn of the century England, like 1900s.
which is very interesting because Julie's jokes earlier when Kirsten and Jimmy are hanging out are all about, oh, you guys gonna have a quickie? Oh, you guys have sex? Like, it very much felt like Julie was okay, like giving the blessing of them having sex if that allowed the money to keep pouring in.
Oh, I didn't see that at all. I thought she was
Okay.
being really passive aggressive, saying like, I think that it is not cool that you have this relationship that you have where you can borrow money, and I took it more that.
I think I got a little more hostility out of that. But I do. Well, I find that kind of interesting that her just being like, whatever it takes. If you got to bone down with Kirsten, you do it. I want this pony.
So you would not put it past Julie if she needed money to maybe have sex with a rich older person?
I think if it kept her status alive, I think if it kept her reputation intact, it would be okay with her.
If you put it like that, it almost seems like dumb that you wouldn't do it. Oh, so all you have to do is have sex and then you get yourself taken care of. I mean, I've never gotten people looking down on people that choose to do that sort of thing. Like, you can just be poor and not be able to pay your bills and, go hungry, or you can just have sex with an old guy. I'd do it.
Yeah. I got
Please, old guys tweet me. I will have sex with you for money.
all the Greek yogurt you
I'm
can
not
eat.
joking. I have a really, really nice penis. No, I do.
Looks like a sausage arm.
Yeah, like a baby's arm holding a sausage. Just makes a T angle at the end. T for Timmons. Okay.
Visit our forums and draw a picture of a baby's arm holding a sausage.
Baby's arm holding this sausage.
Hashtag baby arm sausage.
Now do Jimmy Stewart.
Hashtag baby arm sausage.
Hashtag baby arm.
When you've got the baby arm, you've got to pick up the sausage. Just pick up the sausage. Baby arm.
Well, live again.
That was the same impression I did earlier, right?
Oh, it sounded more like this is the old lady from Harry Potter that plays McGonagall.
Dumbledore?
No,
Maggie Smith.
Maggie Smith. It sounded like Maggie Smith to me. And Dumbledore, yeah. That's what.
I'm gonna turn into a cat.
Mr. Potter, I'm a cat person. Meow. Now listen here, meow.
Do we ever meet Aunt Cindy? I'm hoping Aunt Cindy and her 4 kids show up.
We got a
Let the
nod?
record show that John is nodding his head up and down so that we will meet Aunt Cindy.
No spoilers, we meet Aunt Cindy.
Oh, fuck.
She's a werewolf. It's a Halloween episode. You know how Boy Meets World had those Halloween episodes?
Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to John Adams High.
Does
where
OC do Halloween episodes?
No, but it would be cool if they did.
I've always,
Do they call him Halloween?
Oh, no, they don't because they don't have them. I was just lying to.
Why don't they celebrate Halloween in the OC? It seems
don't.
like they all like to dress up and be other people.
You would have a Halloween party at the end of the episode. Everyone would be planning. There would be
They
misunderstandings.
have Valentine's Day episodes, Christmas episodes. They have.
I'm sorry, Chris what?
Don't worry about it. You'll learn. But they don't have a Halloween episode. At least I don't think they do.
That feels like a
The next
huge
episode.
missed opportunity. Yeah.
The Halloween.
So
Yeah. Okay. So Sandy's not going because he's pissed off at stuff and shit.
So then it opens with Sandy and Ryan playing video games together.
They're playing Dynasty Warriors together, apparently on single player. If you watch, they're both playing on a non-split screen. So it's that thing where movies and TV shows have people playing co-op video games,
It was
but
like
just on single player.
co-op with some friendly fire activated because
I
Sandy
guess.
keeps killing Ryan.
How do you guys feel about if you're playing a video game with someone and that other person accidentally kills you?
I don't care.
Oh, you're cool with it?
Probably
Okay.
not an accident. I mean, I don't,
Does it ever happen?
You mean like if you're attacking a giant turtle and someone throws a spear in the back of your head?
Oh.
Or if you're just firing a crossbow blindly into a group and
I also killed Russell recently playing a video game as well.
That's awesome.
We kill each other playing video games a lot.
That's mainly me, meaning that I'm
I've killed now
Terrible.
you and Russell.
yeah. I just mean it's usually me with the who's the bumbling idiot.
No.
Oh, you guys.
You're like the Seth of the group.
That's fair. I have boats named after both of you.
Who was the OC Golden Boy? Why do I have OC Golden Boy written
That's
down?
Luke.
Luke is the OC Golden Boy?
Who else would it be?
I don't know.
Do they?
He's like the what everyone wants their daughter to date in the OC. Like Julie wants her daughter to date Luke. Luke is the perfect OC boy.
He's like the most alpha dude
Yeah.
there, and captain of the water polo team. I bet he's a good listener too. Good snuggler.
Well, yeah, Sandy's talking to Ryan and he says kind of the theme of the OC here, which is everyone at Cotillion feels like a fraud. That same kind of everyone, even if they're
Yeah.
inside of the society, still feel like they're somewhat a part of it, the imposter syndrome thing. So he tells that to Ryan, and he says that they all have their secrets, and I thought this was interesting. He tells Ryan his sort of secret, which is that sometimes I actually like this place. That's Sandy's secret. Secret? That's Sandy's secret
Anna?
about the OC. Yeah,
And
Anna. So his
so
secret that actually he does like the OC. So my question is, why does this need to be kept a secret? Why does Sandy feel like he needs to keep it secret that he actually likes?
I feel like it was. I think it was said as mainly as a joke, sort of to be flippant, that it's not actually a secret. But I think that it's telling that he's one of the people, just like Anna or Seth or Ryan, that feels a little bit outside of the culture and that kind of defines themselves on being outside of the culture. And I think admitting the fact, like Anna's able to do, that you can still fit in sometimes, that it's not all terrible to be here. And I think that's important to tell Ryan,
Okay, yeah.
who's new there.
Yeah, you can enjoy yourself here as long as you are completely away of all people and by yourself doing your favorite hobby.
and making sure that your wife pays all your bills
Yep.
and is smoking hot. And I think she's only like 10 years older than Ben McKenzie, the actress is.
Kirsten?
Something like that. Or maybe, no.
Marissa. Marissa's 10 years older than Ben?
Kirsten, I believe, is only 10 or so years older than
Sandy?
Seth, I believe. And then Julie's actually only like 10 or 12 years older than the kids as
Jimmy.
well. You've confused me what I was saying.
But
The point is, both ladies are really young to be mothers. That they're not old enough to be the mothers that they're supposed to be.
So Ryan sends Seth to go talk to Anna for him. And in that conversation, Seth decides to use some boat language. Like he says, the wind out of my sails, when Anna says what he's about to say. And I really wish Seth used more boat terminology. Like he was so into sailing that everything he said had to do with it.
It's telling that he uses it at least one time. I guess he'd be
One
a
time.
psychopath if maybe every single time he uses like gun whales and windlass and those type of things. Look, what's off my prow?
Wow, that really hit starboard.
Yeah, things like that. I think that would be weird. But did
Nice
you
to
notice?
mast you.
What was Seth's reaction to Anna liking comics? Was it a nice reaction?
What? Girls liking comics? Not recently. He had an episode where I'm
Girls
just not
like
realizing.
punk?
Yeah, Marissa liked the same things as him, and he was just like disgusted.
Yeah.
But here's this hot new lady who likes it, and he's flabbergasted that girls could like a comic
Yeah,
book.
he's disgusted himself for liking what Marissa likes. Well, as he's orienting himself, maybe not around girls. Maybe I'm doing that wrong. Maybe it's more about Marissa, kind of personifies what he doesn't like about the people in Orange County versus Anna, who's this outsider. And it's like, whoa, there's other people like me out there in the world. But I thought it was kind of lame that he was just so impressed that she it's sexist to be impressed that a girl likes comics, obviously. I thought that was a douche move on his part.
Yeah. And I mean, she didn't even name 5 superheroes, so really, how much does she know?
Well, then she calls them graphic novels. What do you guys think about that? That kind of that very snooty. I think everyone should call them graphic novels, like I do. Then maybe they'd be taken seriously.
Well, I was going to ask because I think probably both of you would be probably at one point bigger comic book fans than me. I always thought graphic novels were something just very different.
They are. There's trade paperbacks, graphic novels, and comics.
Yeah,
and all 3 of those are different.
Right. Like you can't just be like, I call magazines phone books because they're not. They're just they're kind of similar and they will both fit on the shelf, but like one is very different than the other.
Yeah, comic would be shorter and on pretty more cheaply and be probably a ongoing, like a series of something. It's one in the collection. A graphic novel would be on purpose, kind of have a beginning, middle, and end, and be a wholly contained story in itself for the most part.
Yes.
See, and I would argue with your terminology there. I would be like, it all fits under the umbrella of comic book. There's no need to like differentiate it. Like I get what you're saying, like the single issues of the comic books, and there are graphic novels and there are trades which collect
they're all
them
comics, but they're not all graphic novels. What she's saying, she wants to call all comics graphic novels. So that is the opposite jump. Yes. I call graphic novels comics all the time. I don't call comics graphic novels unless they are a graphic novel, in my opinion.
Right.
I see what they were trying to do with her, trying to make it seem as if she is super into the medium, which makes sense.
Yeah, she's going to deep pull. She knows the terminology. That's what they're doing.
In the same way we had Ryan with the really weird opening monologue about like Social Security and like all that on the pilot.
It's
it's like you need to give her things to say at the end of it to be like, oh, she's saying words about comics. Okay, she's
I specifically remember I went to college to learn sequential art comics. And so it was my undergrad degree. And we went to, in a summer semester in Manhattan. And I remember we went to the Marvel offices and like one of the kids in the group was saying that he's in a graphic novels. You would only use graphic novels. I remember the person that worked at Marvel saying like, kid, just say comics. I say I'm a cartoonist. You can say comics without people, be proud of it. And that's why I got the opposite from Anna. Like I personally call them graphic novels because I'm above the little things like comics. I kind of got her being a little bit snooty about it.
Yeah.
But I guess because I like the concept of just owning the fact that it's somewhat of a lower form in some people's eyes. Like, be proud of it.
We're complaining that this character is too perfect. And when she does have this one flaw, we rack her on it.
That's a fair point.
Be like, oh, what the fuck, Anna?
And she's also supposed to be created as the perfect pairing for Seth.
And he's pretentious.
And he is 100%. I mean, they're 17 years old. That's like what that time is where, you're very guarded of anything that defines you.
You don't want anybody to think that you're lame.
Yeah.
Seth is not doing a great job with that so far.
And then...
Summer dumps Seth for Luke when she realized that Marissa isn't coming to Cotillion to be Luke's partner.
It's bullshit.
So Summer will dump Seth so she can dance with Luke. Oh. And so is that a bad friend move by Summer towards Marissa? Like she knows Marissa dates Luke. So that's not a bro move on her part, right?
Yeah, but she's also looking to get out from Seth and probably also hangs out with Luke more. I mean, Luke was at her birthday party. Marissa wasn't.
So you don't think it would make Marissa mad if they danced together or anything like that?
Why shouldn't it? They're just friends and neighbors.
Yeah, and she hangs out with Ryan all the time, so she shouldn't get jealous. I bet Marissa would not get jealous. She's very much, I don't think, the jealous type.
If they're in a fight, though, like if you're like...
It's true.
I feel like that's the one point where you got to kind of draw the line and be like, yeah, I can't go dancing with you when my best friend is actively fighting with you. I think if it was any other circumstances, like Marissa just couldn't make it, that whatever. And that she was stuck at home. Then
she had diarrhea. Marissa's diarrhea was
her
too
butthole
severe.
Is blasting everywhere. And so then, Summer could be like, oh, yeah, no, we're all friends. Let's dance. But it feels like a bit of a dick move to be like, oh, you guys are fighting? Did you guys ever have that friend who became too good of friends with everyone's girlfriend? There was someone I went to high school
Altman.
with. Yeah.
No, fuck it. I love you, Chris. Fucking Chris.
Yeah.
Chris
seriously. No.
Took us to episode 3. I lost the bet. I thought it would take us to episode 6.
Chris would never watch this. Chris is the Seth. Chris is definitely the Seth. He's too good for the OC. I know the Chris. No, I don't. Clap? I don't know. Fuck Chris.
Just letting
I'm just saying it right now. Fuck your mustache.
Chris, please come on the show as a guest and rebuttal all of this.
No, please no.
Reboot, re-debut, all of this.
Rebutante.
Okay. What else happens?
Oh, so then we go back and
we go back and Marissa comes to see Ryan for no reason.
of course, it's just
And what do they say to each other
Well,
when they meet at the door?
She knows he's there. When she heard from Summer that Ryan isn't there, super sleuth super sleuth Coop knows exactly where to go to find Ryan.
Did we see a facial expression, or was she a poker face when she was told that as well? She was very excited to hear that he wasn't coming. And then so she shows up and they have their hey for like the third time this episode.
Oh, man.
And they basically say, I'll go if you go. So both Marissa and Ryan decide to go to Cotillion. And
So
then Sandy, they come to tell Sandy who's playing Dynasty Warriors by himself now.
Stabbing himself, probably.
Sandy being
He's killing all the ninjas.
awesome wingman. We're just like with just a look that
I'll drive you.
Yep. I'll get my keys. That's so good.
Hop in the Volvo.
Hop in the Volvo.
Hop in the Volvo, whatever. I'm from Brooklyn, yeah?
Stickball.
Handball with a stickball, whatever. Go to Coney Island, get a dog.
Forget about
whatever,
it.
forget about it. I'm walking here. I'm walking. That's Dustin Hoffman. So we get Christopher Cousins coming back. Okay, we go back to Cotillion, and Jimmy's being leaned on by Christopher Cousins again, who plays what's the guy's name he plays? The dad of Holly.
Greg Fisher.
Greg Fletcher, I believe.
Fisher.
I think it's Holly Fletcher. Doesn't matter. The point being, he's played by Christopher Cousins.
They're fucking fish. That's how he made his $250,000 is by setting up a fishing pool every goddamn morning and catching fish and selling them for gold.
Podcast over.
So Mr. Fish, the Fishers. Okay,
No, it's Fletcher.
okay.
Set up a fletching pole.
Anyway, he's pressing on Jimmy again. He wants his money. Jimmy's dodging him while he's watching his daughter dance and stuff. Luke dumps Marissa for no real reason. Well, he dumps her. Luke dumps Marissa when she shows up at Cotillion with Ryan. Mm-hmm. And he basically sees him walking. He's like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!" And he drops her like a bad habit right there.
At least one of them can make a decision.
That's true. Luke, he goes from the gut. I think Luke does.
And that's, once again, I feel like he's not a good boyfriend to have. But if you're going to be like, yes, I'm going to be his girlfriend, does it make sense to show up with Ryan, to like walk in together?
It's
like
true.
it just feels like.
Does she know what? I mean, because she thinks he's not going, right?
Yeah.
She knows Luke is going.
Right.
Yeah, she knows.
So
Luke's
she
already
knows
there.
Luke's going to be there. So when
Yes.
she's walking, she like, oh, I hope he doesn't see us walk in. She's got to know his reaction when she does this.
And it feels like.
And she's making the choice not to just to have that confrontation, which is fine if she wants that.
But it feels like every time she's presented with that confrontation, she's like, I don't get where this is coming
She always
from.
chooses Ryan in that situation. I'd rather have my relationship with Luke go wrong and be good friends with Ryan, which is valid, but that's the choice she's making.
Mm-hmm.
And she always seems flabbergasted that anyone is ever affected by anything she does, it seems like.
Yep.
All right, so Ryan switches partners at this point from Anna to Princess Mononoke over there as
Yep.
Anna. So Anna refers to Marissa as Princess Mononoke when Ryan wants to switch partners to Marissa.
I haven't seen that, but that's an anime, right? Is it about a horse?
It's a Miyazaki anime.
It's very 2003.
So I guess you don't know,
reference.
but is that an insult?
No.
Why is she Princess Mononoke? I don't understand that.
It is 100% just a random pop culture, vaguely comic book.
Was that actress trying to improv?
Explain the story of Princess Mononoke to me.
Princess Mononoke is a wild,
She's a horse, right?
No.
It's like a spirit of nature. It is
She's like a person that lives in the wild.
totally not. It's just in 2003 that was like it. I guess it had been. I think it maybe came out.
It
in
came to
2001.
America probably in 2003 or something.
Yeah, and it got a pretty big American release. It was a
It's up for an Oscar, I think.
thing that she could reference. That was.
But why? I mean, just because princess isn't it? Is it
Yes,
'cause
I think it's
princess is in it?
100%.
Yeah,
It's just
okay.
that she's saying princess, but then they threw in
So
a pop culture.
it is a kind of an insult, though, right?
She said it in an insulting
She said
tone.
insulting.
I think in the way
Princess Mononoke.
I think in the way you would say princess to indicate
Okay.
that someone is probably spoiled and kind of prim and overly wealthy.
Okay. Like Princess Mononoke, that super wealthy character that lived in the woods among the spirits. That was super anti government and I think the character is very much against progression of technology and very against the push
and,
of
and very
wealth.
much not like a ball gown.
No,
makeup,
that's my
fancy-
point. Like
yeah.
if she does it make sense as an insult if that character's supposed to be into dorky stuff and really know this stuff? Why would that be? I don't. That seems a weird choice. Why not Princess Peach or something? So this doesn't sound right. Anna then calls Seth a pussy. When does she do that? When does she do that? Why did I write that down?
Because she talks about his confidence.
Oh, that's right.
Kind of she calls him out for being a pussy.
Okay. That's your terminology. You were putting.
Yeah, she didn't say pussy. I'm like, why did I write that? But yeah, I must be saying she's essentially maybe I wasn't supposed to read that. That was supposed to remind me. She basically says he needs to be a man and be confident, and that's how you get girls to like you.
Yep. And
When
then
she already likes him without being confident. So
that's my question. Does she like? She's into him at that point, right?
Yeah, and she very confidently asks him out as an example.
I like you, Seth. She talks like that. Am I the only one that hears this?
I didn't get the lisp at all. That's so weird.
Seth, you got to have confidence, Seth. My name is Anna, Seth. I'm from Pittsburgh. I like peanut butter pie, Seth.
Let me show you this comic book.
Oh, Seth. No, so you would say graphic novel. Oh, Seth.
Have you heard the story of Superman?
Superman's my favorite graphic novel. Seth.
Jimmy Stewart loves Superman.
Sounds like Jimmy Stewart has a donkey. That's sexy. Zootopia, out now.
She uses his last name though. It's like Confidence Cohen.
Oh yeah, I like
it's nice.
sexy.
I hope she calls him Cohen more often. I feel like that's
a cool name.
Yeah.
All right. So then Seth, after getting his pep talk from Anna and learning that maybe there's other women in the world that are not named Summer, he kind of gleefully denies Summer when she comes looking for a partner now that Ryan or Luke are out of the game for Summer as a partner. What'd you guys think of his kind of like dancing rejection of Summer? Like it or?
He danced earlier when he was talking about dancing. He was like, Summer check out or talking about his cool moves. So it was a continuation of that.
Yep. I thought it was a good callback. And I thought maybe that was going to start because I know eventually we're going to see a Summer Seth. I guess I'm just anticipating that at some point. And I thought him being really mean to her was going to turn the tables and have her be like, no one's ever been mean to me. But I liked this ended way better. That it was like, yep, fuck you. I'm off. Going to go have fun with my friend Anna before she sails to Tahiti because of course.
But it seems like he keeps having that moment, right? Like he's her lucky rabbit's foot in the gamble. And then when he's needed elsewhere, he immediately leaves her. And then she kind of asks him to be his dance partner, which he's been wanting. And now that there's another girl in the picture, he leaves her. So does he actually like Summer that much? Or is the concept of loving unrequitedly Summer more of a thing for him than actually having Summer?
I think that's a valid point. I mean, I think that's probably natural to
that's true.
Being that age of just learning what that means. I think that's probably something you get used to as being a nerdy kid, is getting used to, looking at people from afar, and that you learn that that's a hard lesson, I guess, the first time you get up close and be like, oh, you're not super perfect and you haven't just fallen madly in love with me. Makes sense.
It's never. They've always fallen immediately madly in love with me.
I know that works out well.
I've described my penis twice now. You get why, right?
Yeah,
it fits somewhat in a condom, and it's shiny. Okay, it's weirdly shiny. We'll go into it later on the P-men, the demon. Okay, demon. All right, so then they dance the cotillion, if that's the name of the dance, which I'm not entirely sure.
Now, I'm not. I've never taken dance lessons. I wouldn't say I know how to dance, but I at least know when you're doing a waltz, it's a 3 count and everyone should be dancing to the same beat.
I know nothing.
So it's just I know it's supposed to be like 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, every time Marissa was dancing twice as fast as everyone else. And I'm sure when you're filming, they're probably not actually playing music and everyone's just supposed to be dancing. But I did think it was kind of funny that everyone in the whole dance floor is moving at the same pace, and then there's Marissa just like, meow, 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 dancing all around.
She taught Ryan how to dance, but
terribly.
She can't really dance.
Nope, that's the joke.
Well, she's like the head. Maybe she's the head Deb. She's supposed to do something different. I don't know. Maybe that's just to show how competent she is. In any case, Chris Cousins doesn't care how confident she is because Chris Cousins punches her dad right in the face after he tells him that he lost all his money.
Thief.
He calls him a thief.
Yeah, he
accuses him a few times.
He goes from being we talked about this before, very just like level-headed and together and kind of angry to like drunken madman.
I guess it's that moment where he really learns like my money is. I've lost $250,000 in one clump. I mean, I could say I didn't say in one cunt.
One C
That's
word.
expensive.
How long has Jimmy been ducking his calls?
Like a day. I mean, really, it's not.
Yeah,
that
it seems
long.
like throughout the day is all.
Yeah,
but maybe longer that we haven't seen.
I don't know how investment things, but it feels like if you're investing your money, it seems unreasonable to just be like, I need $250,000 right now. That feels like a thing that it wouldn't be.
It's tied up in stocks,
right?
Stuff,
like it wouldn't be wrong to just be like, we can get that to you. You're in every right. Give me 2 days to,
Which is
Or more money
basically,
off my
and Jimmy
neighbor.
wasn't even asking for that. He's just not at my daughter's cotillion. Is
Right.
really all he's saying. And
Tonight's so great. Let's just enjoy tonight. That's so fun.
It's good, Jimmy
what do
Stewart.
you think, Jimmy Stewart? Damn it.
It's just enjoy tonight.
You see, it's not Jimmy Stewart, is it? I keep doing that.
When-
Bluey.
When Sandy entered the cotillion before all that happened, though, we learned that he is the king of the icebreakers by saying a line that I forgot. Like there's 500 channels and nothing on.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And made me laugh out loud again where she goes, "You're not wearing a tie? He goes, pick your battles, honey." That killed me.
Sandy, everything out of his mouth is, I don't know. They hit the jackpot somehow on making that guy likable, respectable, and like also cool. It's like this weird, I don't know how they did it. I wish I could write, if every character I ever tried to write came out like Sandy, everyone would love everything I wrote. Because somehow they made Luke really likable to me, and they're trying their hardest to make him unlikable. So they're doing something here. How about this? Can Jimmy take a punch very well? He gets knocked straight down. Like, Rusty, I've seen you punch in the face before. He just got knocked on his ass
he
by a
died.
Yeah,
Like
he killed him.
Because he was, I believe after everything was done, he was just lying
Yeah.
on his back, and everyone's like, Jimmy, are you okay?"
He cannot glass
Jimmy, are you
jaw. Remy
okay?
on the roof, and it took him out. So in a bro move, speaking of how Sandy's a bro, Sandy immediately comes and protects Jimmy. He pushes Mr. Fletcher, Mr. Mr. Fish out of the way.
Well, Kirsten questioned Sandy's commitment to family earlier, and so he's got to step up and show how much he's willing to do for his friends.
Yeah.
And then, of course, after Sandy gets in the thick of it and gets punched, Ryan comes and helps out his not father.
True son.
Seth sits there while his dad gets in a fight. Ryan comes and helps him out. Again, it's like the second time in 2 episodes Seth has just sat on the sidelines as one of his family was almost assaulted.
How great would it have been if both
Yep.
Ryan and Seth came over together and picked the dude up and just slammed him on the
Like a
ground to get
wrestling
him
move,
off?
like a combo wrestling move.
And then high-fived afterwards.
Fastball special.
And then fucked.
Yeah. Too far.
Is Kirsten super horny with this move? I got like a Kirsten face from this as she was super into watching Sandy throw down.
She definitely seemed impressed afterwards as he's icing his face and everything, that she seemed very
Oh, so you're too like
Very
you're
DTF.
too dignified. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I wanted you to say it. God damn it! I got the fact that she my question is, does she like that? Was she super wet from him being all manly and fighting, or was it for sticking up for her friend and getting over the jealousy they might have? Was she appreciative of him, or was she kind of into him, being
I'm saying a little column A, a little column B. I think it was
gives her a little column D, huh?
yeah. Excel humor that
Oh God.
yeah, no, but so I think that both of those things were true. I think she liked the aggressiveness, the alphaness of getting into that fight, but then also the fact that this was a direct argument they had from before, sort of working through that and him being like, "Yep, I'll stick up for him, even though he's an idiot."
So much like Dawn, Ryan's mother, falling, this kind of is the ending of the party, basically. That party ended with her falling drunk. This party ends with a fight, and Seth and Anna go for a walk afterwards. My question about this is, where is Summer in his mind at this point? Is Anna now taking the place of Summer? Is he past Summer now? Is he into Anna now? Is this what the walk means?
He's
And
got
are
a
they
new
too
obsession.
perfect for each other?
Yeah, in his head, he is repainting the boat already, just like changing it to a Anna Breeze.
Analingus. That's analingus. Analingus.
Yeah, we're with you.
Tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
That scene, though, of Seth asking Ryan if he could walk her home was very much like Back to the Future with George McFly asking Marty about, like, hey, do you mind if me and
Your mother.
Lorraine go home together?
Interesting. Is also asking for permission from the man for Anna. I thought that was kind of strange. Why do you have to ask Ryan permission to walk with
Because
her?
they were originally dance partners, I guess. Right? But then he was her...
I think it felt more like he was looking out to be like making sure that Ryan wasn't just getting abandoned, even though he's done a good job of abandoning
Who's
him.
ever abandoned Ryan before?
Yes, exactly. He's very sensitive to
He
this.
abandons him at all the parties too.
Yeah, and so I think it was more just like, I'm not going to be a dick this time and just leave you here. I'm going to at least give you the opportunity to walk home with us if you want to be a huge cock block.
Okay. And so we've got Marissa staring off in the distance again, which is, we're starting early with her. This is going to be her main activity she enjoys. And
Well, she does that
a couple times.
She does that even when she's in conversations with people. So
in life, she's one
very
big
tall and very pretty.
She's just 1,000-yard stare walking around.
They haven't mentioned that once, that like Marissa's taller than Ryan, and they dance together, and like I feel like most shows would take that as an opportunity to mention that, but that's crazy that they haven't even spoken about it.
They're too busy touching each other's backs.
Anyway, so she's staring off in the distance again. Ryan comes and consoles her about her father getting the shit kicked out in front of everyone they know, and Luke walks in on the scene. It seems like Luke's a little bit calmer about the situation. Why is Luke so calm this time? Now Ryan's got his coat around Marissa's shoulders as she's outside, and Luke walks in on this, and now he's kind of cool about it all.
Luke has heard what has happened, and what has happened is that people know something bad about the Coop family, and as we have seen with people like Julie, anything bad being known about your family is the worst thing that could ever happen, and so he's super sympathetic to her plight of, your family's name is tarnished now. I've got to come and rescue you.
Again, it's like old Downton Abbey type shit, like old world class stuff, right?
DA is DOC.
And I thought it was interesting, just as far as
Hashtag.
I don't know, symbology goes. We've got Ryan with his coat on Marissa's shoulders. Luke comes up, consoles her as well. She removes the coat from her shoulders, gives it back to Ryan. So if we're going as that as a signifier of some sort of like possession in a way or something, if Luke doesn't show up and Ryan coat stays on her shoulders, is the whole thing different if Luke doesn't show up in that moment? Is that a big moment for Luke to show up and be sympathetic towards her?
Yes.
So you're saying that if he hadn't shown up, things might have gone differently?
As symbolized by the coat upon the shoulders, yes.
Yeah, okay. So that things were on track for Bonetown between
If
Marissa.
not Bonetown, then at least Relationship City,
Okay.
in which Bonetown
More of a
is
borough.
like more of a borough. It's kind of like it's a Brooklyn type sort of shape to it.
Township.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was significant. I don't know why I'm trying to push the symbology of the coat, but it just seemed like it was his on her. Luke shows up, she takes it off.
Yeah.
Goes off with Luke. It's this kind of
Well, she goes off by herself.
She goes off by herself. Okay, I missed that.
So that she specifically says, "I just want to be alone."
That's true. She did
And
that.
so
Yeah, I forgot
but
that.
I think that you're absolutely right that whole scene's leading up to, will they, won't they? Is this going to be the Ryan and Marissa final hookup moment? But then Luke showing up, her taking off the coat, at least leaves it ambiguous as to she's not picking either of them. Maybe she's just.
So would she have gone off on her own if Luke hadn't showed up? Or she would just stayed with Ryan? Maybe
probably would have just stayed with Ryan. But I think that probably Luke showing up brought back that whole drama. And I like in my head that I was so caught up in that drama that I'm like, gosh, she's being really melodramatic for just like not being able to pick a guy. I was like, oh yeah, no, she's upset because her dad was just beat up at the police are there.
And are they poor now? And are they now outcast?
Yeah, someone just yelled thief and beat the
pariahs
shit out of her dad.
Which always sucks when that happens.
Yeah, so I think she's probably abandoning guy time for a little bit to.
So is that the end of the episode, though?
Yep.
It cut out very dramatic.
Yeah.
I felt like there should have been a
See,
little
that's
extra.
when if Seth had walked out and been like,
bit
"Is
of-
this about the drapes?" But
A little bit of a denouement.
yes,
Did you guys remember how Ryan read that one line about they were talking about how being there in the OC and if he was okay with it, and he was like, with you it's not horrible, and then he gave the weirdest giggle. Did that like stick out? It's just like, with you it's not horrible. It was the most un-Ryan thing Ryan's done, but it's felt like the most acting Ben McKenzie has done.
okay.
That's not a good sign, probably.
It's I remember that scene. I don't remember the
I'm going
giggle.
to impress the
but I love
director.
it.
I'm going to like improv a little laugh here. It's going to sound real cool.
It was the giggle.
It's him just going, "Oh, that was good. Let's try one more just without the laugh."
Giggle, giggle.
This was also a scene.
Gurgle.
Coop was asking important questions, like how Sandy was asking important questions earlier. Like she was straight up asking Luke, like, "Do you want to be with me?" or things like that. I should have wrote those questions down because now they're not coming back to me. But
No, but okay, so that's like kind of role she's serving here is like getting the heart of the situations, right? Where other people might be talking around it. So, which leads me to Luke Watch.
Luke watch.
Luke Watch. If he gets a 0 out of 10 likability in episode 1 and maybe a 5 and 2 and he goes up to an 8 and 3, where's Luke on the likability scale in episode 4, the debut? Russell?
I think he's closer to a 3 or a 4.
Yeah, he's going back down.
And the reason he's that high is because of him trying to feed a chip to his bro.
Yep.
with the whole being upset with Ryan again and not being able to communicate effectively with his significant other, he does not seem as cool and fun as he once did.
I'd say he was a bit of a spiking graph, this one, where he wasn't a consistent character through most of it. That there were parts where, he's sort of on the fence. He's a solid 5. There's parts where he's awesome. The Chip guacamole fight being one of them. But then there's also parts where he's a bit of a douche. So I'm going to give him a 5. I'll just give him right down the middle. 5 out of 10.
So the last scene doesn't sway you a little bit either way?
I think he's better in that one, but he's kind of ridiculous leading up to it.
All right. So what else is debuted beside the obvious, the people being debuted at the Cotillion? What is everyone debuting?
It's a metaphor.
I did not feel the debut as a metaphor so much. I'm not sure what it is. I also still don't know what a metaphor is, but it did not feel like a metaphor. I couldn't see the metaphor as clearly.
I would say that the biggest one for me, I guess, it's not like the model home was, but it's definitely Ryan's debut as a Cohen.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's definitely this first episode of him as being part of the family and trying to fit in.
I think Jimmy being debuted as the man he has been hiding this whole time.
Oh, he is very clearly debuted as someone yells thief at him.
Yeah, I mean, he's outed. He's debuted to everyone. This is who he truly is. He's a thief. I think that's a big one. I think that's probably. I think Ryan and Jimmy are the ones debuted there.
And I guess Anna debuts of a sorts.
Oh, that's true.
As a character,
she's new to
the show.
She's literally new to Orange County and new to the show as well.
Seth being a normal person kind of debuts, which is nice.
Okay.
Confident Cohen.com.
So what's going to come of Seth's infatuation with Summer now that Anna is added as a kind of a twist here?
I'm intrigued.
What do you guys expect?
I expect more of the same, but it seems like Anna is able to help evolve him into a normal human being. Hopefully she doesn't get scared away by his insaneness and is able to further instruct him in how non-aliens act.
Yeah, it feels like debuting a character who is the perfect relationship match for one of your main characters in the 4th episode of the show doesn't make sense. Like that. So it feels like they should be walking off and be like, well, I guess we're just going to get married and have kids. Yeah, but I don't anticipate that being that perfect. So I don't think the Summer and Seth thing will go away for now.
I am curious to see how long she's going to be on that boat, because she said for the rest of summer, the season. But how long does the rest of the season last? Not season 1 of the show.
Yeah, but I get the impression.
Summer season, yeah.
I think it's almost the end of summer. I got the impression it's like August at this point.
Almost the end of summer if Seth starts dating her, yes.
Yes.
Because he's a psychopath.
She's going to end up in his basement.
Yeah, that's interesting. Do you see them as the situation of Anna makes Summer jealous type of thing?
Oh, like
or am I projecting too much?
Season 2, Friday Night Lights, when the cool girl comes to Landry. Sorry to use analogies.
Yeah, I don't get your jokes, okay?
Watch good shows, Jamie.
What's an analogy?
That's like a metaphor of the...
What's a metaphobe?
But okay, yeah, I could see that.
So that's where I really thought that...
I know what's happening, so I probably shouldn't say that. Do you think this will happen? That's stupid.
But the only way to turn Summer back onto Seth seems to be jealousy and confidence through him being just mean to her. I really thought that's how we were going to get one shot of
negging. Is that what you're saying?
100%. It's shitty and it's a terrible plot device. But I thought we were going to end with one shot after he was like, "Screw you." I do my little dance. I'm walking out of her just being like, and we're finally remember his name or something like that.
Yeah, the focus is not on their relationship, though. It feels like we should see stuff like that. Like when they were dancing at the rehearsal dinner or the rehearsal cotillion, they didn't have any shots of them at all. And it's like it's a part of the show, but the story isn't as highlighted, which is weird.
I still think Summer doesn't become I think she's still a guest star. I think maybe the 5th episode is what I read, where she becomes just a repeat kind of player. So I think right now it's still just supposed to be an infatuation for Seth, and the romance they're trying to push is Marissa and Ryan.
And as an actress, I think she's doing a good job. I could see where the producers would be having a fun time with her. Yes, let's put her in more things. Apparently,
more bikinis and bras.
Yeah, she's super down to take off her clothes, I guess. Because
she does a lot less of that as she's on the show more, which is strange.
I wonder if that was a contract thing. Yeah. So I'll be on your show. Just give me a shirt, please.
Game of Thrones Danny.
Yeah.
That's true. I would only be on the show if they let me take my shirt off. Thoughts on female characters now? It's kind of a connection to Summer. Do we like them anymore? Do we see more complications? I think Marissa definitely we like well, I don't know if we like her anymore.
I like Anna. Anna's great.
Anna's great. I want to
Yep.
date Anna. I like
feel
the
like-
short hair.
I certainly like Summer less the more we get to know her. But I think all the other ones, Marissa and Kirsten, I guess, too, both we got to see a little more of them. Got to see Julie being a little more conniving, the whole like, you're not sorry, but you will be. So while we're not necessarily maybe liking her as a person, I feel like she's like Game of Thrones style. Like she's the one who's going to be.
Did you guys ever watch Rome?
Yeah.
She
No.
she reminds me of the redheaded leader of the Julii.
Oh,
Actia.
Octavius's mom?
Yeah, Octavius's mom in
Octavius-
Rome. She's got the same type of like kind of conniving, kind of underhanded, kind of passive aggressive, kind of like Mama Grizzly, overprotective. I don't know. I got a lot of in my head. They're the same actress, but I know they're not.
I didn't watch Rome, so I can't confirm or deny. I'm going to say you're
You
completely
don't watch
wrong.
any. We're just gonna. We only use references that you know.
That's fair.
So The Simpsons and
QI.
Yes.
Venture Brothers and Rick and Morty.
And that's Ed.
All three I don't watch because I'm an adult.
Oh.
I call them graphic cartoons. All right.
Animated novels.
What problems or plot points have been resolved and what new ones have arisen? So this is kind of like the promises question. Has anything come to an end that we think here? And are there new branching off points that we see?
Ryan has a home, but it's only temporary if he doesn't clean up his act.
We definitely finally got an answer to what Jimmy's been hiding. Well, I mean, not the
You
specifics.
can't see it at all.
Jimmy.
Give me back my sausage, Jimmy. I need it. I need a sausage, Jimmy.
Totally
Oh,
just sounds like Judy Garland. But
Mr. Potter. No, that's
totally
Dumbledore.
Judy Garland.
that's Judy Garland.
So yeah, we get to see a little more of that.
Photo.
Seems to be the biggest one that we get further. But will remain to be seen what's going to happen with the Coopers now that Jimmy has been outed.
Debuted.
Yeah.
Oh. And then also we've got Anna. Is Anna and Seth?
But she's getting on a boat and leaving for the rest of the next couple episodes till school starts, I'm guessing. So
It's very true.
she just kind of showed up like an angel to give Seth confidence. And then,
She seemed very prescient, like very wise, very, I can tell you how you should be. I will fix all of your problems.
yep.
It's weird, though, that both Ryan and Anna, who both are not from the OC, in addition to Sandy, who's not from the OC, are teaching Seth in order how to fit into
that's
being in
true.
the OC better. So the best way to be in the OC is to learn from others how to live.
It's almost like you got to talk to the people who
Live again.
are actively trying to fit in, as opposed to the ones like Kirsten who just like she just does it naturally.
you can't ask Marissa and Summer because they just naturally kind of fit in, right? So Seth has to act opposite of what he normally is. Just it should be that old advice that people give me all the time. Just whatever you think you should do the opposite of that in the situation. That'll be appropriate. Yeah. All right, so that's all my questions for this shit.
Ratings for this episode: it was the best rated episode of the 4. It will be surpassed next week. 8.6 million people watched this episode, which is crazy. That's up from 8.0 the last episode.
What's the highest rated episode in the season? Do you know off the top of your head?
I was trying not to look too much because
Okay,
I didn't want to
that's
spoil,
fine.
but it jumps to 9.0 next episode. So it seems like it's on an upward trajectory.
I think it gets to the tens of millions.
I don't remember the number, but I looked, and it's episode 17, The Rivals. So
I do. I know exactly what The Rivals
in,
is, so.
In 5 months, we can talk about it.
Finally.
It's just episode 17, you said, right? Or did you say season 2, episode 17?
Season 1, episode 17.
Okay.
Right? That math checks out.
We're already on season 4. So
Because if it's 4, maybe
Six,
it's closer to 3
7, 8,
months.
9,
3 months.
10, 12.
I was expecting us to take delays because I wasn't. I just
I'll
messed up.
be gone for the second half of April in Pittsburgh. But
Well, you'll call in. I'll be fine.
Will you be
Exactly.
seeing Anna?
yes,
Eating
I'll just
peanut
be
butter pies
peanut
in
butter pie, Pittsburgh Penguins,
Pierogies. Black and yellow, black and yellow.
Plaque and Palo. That's how I do peas.
Black and Pello.
Yep.
This is the Plaque and Pello podcast with Pamey Park, Puzzle Panders, and B.T. Pimmons.
Puzzle Panders is a bad guy Harry Potter character.
I am here to teach the dark arts to you, students. Harry, you are wrong and your ideas are bad. It is I, Puzzle Pandas. I will instruct you.
Get out of there, Potter! Get out of there!
Jimmy Stewart, you can
Stewart.
never be a wizard. It is I who will bring the pus forth from your pores.
Yeah, turn to page 394. I'm
That was-
dead now.
Alan Rickman.
Dude, your
Supposed to be
Rickman is solid. That's a
Supposed
solid
to be Andy
Rickman.
Rickman. Supposed to be Alan Rickman.
His brother, R.I.P.
Are they brothers? Because Andy Rickman's tall. Nope, Richter. We're
Yep.
gone from this.
There we go.
Moving on.
On the Rickman scale, that was 8.6.
That's a 6.9. Yeah. Sexiest of all scales. I think we're done, guys.
Hey guys, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to the show on the iTunes. It would really help us out. And also, you can follow me on Twitter at RussellManiaSC and check out Pasta Robot. It's some fun Columbia, South Carolina sketches.
And I'm JT, and if we get 100 likes, we will never do an impression of Jimmy Stewart ever again.
I do
Jamie?
not commit to that. This is Jamie. You can follow me on Twitter at Jamie Clark. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
Yeah. Bird.
Yeah. Sing, yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Clark, yeah.
And that's it for me.
Us, the OC men, we will.
See you later. There were a lot of impressions that episode.
I would say there's too many impressions.
Did you say we made a bad impression?
We deal in lead.